Hello everyone and welcome to Harv's World, where we are doing a setup for the Baltic Sea. That's right, the next map on my Harv's World Tour is the Baltic Sea. Now what brings me here? Well, I was working for Frau B in Ravensburg, and she has a godson named Nico who's gotten himself into financial trouble. He happens to live in Scandinavia. Now I put up a poll, my subscribers, not unanimously, but pretty dominantly decided that Scandinavia was the next best stop on the world tour. So here we are in the Baltic Sea. Now right now I'm on the starter farm. If you were starting as a new farmer, this is where you would be starting up. I'm not going to be using this farm, although it is a nice little farm setup. I do like it, but it's not going to serve the purposes of this role play. So the first thing I want to do is check my settings and see that they're all set up right, and join my farm. Yes, I've set this up in multiplayer. I found sometimes that setting up a multiplayer game instead of just a single player game is actually really helpful to moving the story along and having a few other devices you can use when creating your videos. So that's just what I do. Now, as far as settings go, the first thing I want to make sure I do is turn off this autosave. I don't like autosave. It has done me no favors in the past. Now, I'm going to set my economic difficulty to hard. I'm going to set time down to real time so it doesn't pass by too quickly right now, because this is just a setup. But hard economic difficulty, stop and go braking on. We're not going to have our helpers do anything for us. Plant growth is going to be slow. Withering off, destruction off, plowing on, lime on, weeds on. Okay, that looks pretty darn good. Now, as I said, I'm on the starter farm. It's not going to work for me. But even in Start from Scratch, the map maker has elected to keep all of this equipment available. Well, I don't want this equipment. I'm going to set up my own. So I need to get rid of it all. There we go. That takes care of that. Everything has been sold off. We do not own any lands. In fact, this building right here got sold off. That's okay. I'm not concerned about it. Next thing I want to do is add some money. So I've got about $10 million to play with to get Nico's farm up and running. Now I'm using my easy dev controls to jump in here and get to where I need to go as quick as possible, because that's the name of the game right now. Speed is of the essence. So I have looked around a little bit, well, quite a bit actually, and I've come across a spot right over here on the edge of the Baltic Sea that I think is going to be a nice starting farm for young Nico. This spot right here, I like it. It's got a nice open pasture area. It's got plenty of respectable fields around it, and it's off the beaten path, and I like having it off the beaten path. So to get set up over here, I need to turn my speed off, or I'll be zipping around and it will drive me absolutely bonkers. And that's a very short drive, trust me. I'm going to be using a lot of the map hider, or map objects hider. And what that does for me is I can hit H, and it will offer to hide this building for me, and I can do that. Bob's your uncle, that building is gone. If I wanted to bring that back, I could hold shift and hit H, and it's going to bring me right back, and I can restore that where it was. So the map objects hider mod is an absolute must-have for me personally. I want to get rid of this. I want this gate out of my way. I want this fence out of my way. If I can target it properly. There we go. I want this fence pole out of my way. Oh, I just sold off the sheep pasture that was here, and that's fine because that's what I wanted to do. Be gone, pole, be gone. Okay, so now I have a nice open shot right into my pasture area, which is what I want. I want a more open feel to it. This building is just for show. It's not going to do me any favors, so that's going away also. I think I might keep this little outbuilding out here. I don't know that it'll get used necessarily, but for now, I'm going to leave it. And then this little building, Well, I like the idea. Oh, well, no. I like the decoration of the old hay bales here, so I think I'll keep those in. Anyway, that's how we're starting on poor Nico's farm. In fact, why don't I go ahead and just buy the land? That way I don't have any particular struggles. I'm going to buy that up. And field 14. Come along, little doggy. Field 13. And field 11. Now the premise here is that Nico is, well, he is Frau B's godson. His parents, he lost his parents at a young age. He became a troubled teenager. She pretty much raised him up and got him out of trouble, but he is one of those very impressionable, still young people, in his early 20s probably, who visited Frau B's farm in Ravensburg and got it in his head that he wanted to do the same thing. So now he's come home to Scandinavia and is decided to jump head first without thinking or really knowing what he was doing into a farming operation, and now he's in trouble with the bank. So I want to get him in trouble with the bank. So I'm going to run a loan up on him, and yes, I could do this through an XML file or something like that, but just so you can see exactly what I'm doing, I think 315,000 is a good starting deficit to have to work against, especially on hard economy. So this is going to be a bit of a struggle. Now, being young and impressionable, I kind of see Nico as, I mean, he's got a little bit of older stuff on the farm, but for the most part, he's going to be, you know, looking at all the shiny new stuff out there and putting that on his farm. So that's what I'm going to do, at least to some degree. And the first thing I want to do is place a silo, and I've got these nice, interesting, these are actually very interesting. I was wondering if I could ever find a use for them, and I think this is going to be the ticket. So the first thing I want to do is put a silo in here for him. Let's push it out just a little bit, about like so. There we go. And I don't know, this silo kind of reminds me of an IKEA. And IKEA is very Scandinavian, so you know, it's just got that polished, very new, modern feel to it. So that's going to serve him up right there. Now, of course, he'll be having to have purchased a farm, so there is going to be stuff on this farm that he would just have naturally. And of course, because Frau B has chickens and cattle, little Nico is not going to settle for chickens and cattle. Actually, I forgot to turn on my global company, activate extended placeables. That's what we need. And yeah, Nico's going to be a bit of a contrarian. So Frau B has cattle and chickens. Well, Nico's not going to settle for that. He's going to do pigs. And I thought this rotated a little bit better than that, but apparently not. No, I guess that was about right. So I'm going to find a way to kind of wedge this in out here and still take advantage of the trees and stuff. If there are trees that aren't going to work for me, then I can get rid of them. But that should be pretty respectable. And of course I will do some landscaping around here just to make sure it's all kosher. But animal pen extension, yes, we're going to absolutely have the water valve installed because frankly hauling water is for the birds. And then in 2021 I don't see a lot of water hauling, I see a lot of piping. So yeah, we've got a nasty little edge over here now that'll just have to get smoothed off, and right up here too, but that won't be any trouble. whatsoever. And we'll just take care of that right now. We're going to smooth pretty hard, so I want my brush strength up. And just knock the edge off this so it doesn't look so harsh and it has a little bit more natural feel to it. That's better. And I'm just going to run all the way around just to make sure I haven't missed something that needs to be corrected. You know how placeables can be, and I actually didn't do the best job placing this, I'll be honest with you. Got in a smidge, a little bit of a hurry, but that's okay. Because with our smoothing, we can give it a more natural look anyway, so that's all good. Okay, so I've gone around the pig pen, just give it a little bit more natural feel, a little bit more of a natural look to it. It's nice to have it incorporated with all these trees, you know, not really having to move much out of the way, so that works out fairly well. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, the next thing that I do need, however, there are just a couple trees that I want to get out of my way, and that means I need a chainsaw. And of course, since we're in Scandinavia, it has to be Husqvarna. So we're going to grab one of those. So I want this tree to go away, and Lumberjack mod will allow me to jump right in here and just pretty much delete that tree. And then I almost feel like I should get rid of this one, but I think I'm going to keep it for right now. I don't think that's going to be as much of a problem as it could have been. But the next thing I want to do is I know I'm going to need some additional shed space. I don't want to get rid of anything, and things are starting to get a little bit tight. But I am going to go into my sheds, take a nice look at what I've got. I like this shed right here. It's nice, big, open, an open concept shed that should work out fairly nicely and shouldn't get in the way of too much. And it's got that modern feel to it that I kind of feel like Nico would be looking for, so I'm going to plop that down right there. And yeah, things are starting to get tight, but it's going to be okay. Because this is exactly what a young person would do. Well, and I'm not trying to stereotype here. I'm really not. I'm just throwing ideas out there. That's all I'm trying to do. So we've got our shed. It looks fairly reasonably level. I shouldn't have to do any landscaping on this. It's not so close to our field. It should be much of a problem. Very good. Very nice indeed. Now I did realize one thing that I didn't do when I was landscaping is anytime you do any landscaping over grass, it's going to basically kill off your grass. I mean, you can still see the texture, but the grass won't grow anymore. So I need to go back in and paint this grass back in. Just keep that natural vibe, the natural flair for the area. Although, you know, that's a good trick. If you're sick of mowing an area of grass, just go in and smooth it, and that will stop any growth on the grass unless you paint it back in. And yeah, just paint this all right back, right through here, and make sure we come down over on this side. There we go, that should be pretty good. That should serve us well. Okay, well, we've got a nice big shed. We've got our very modern silo. I'm liking the way this is getting going. So now, what do we need to do for poor Nico? Well, why do I call him poor? He's not poor. It's just, I guess I kind of think of it as a rescue mission. So, I guess he's poor Nico. With my store deliveries mod, I'm going to have everything delivered right here to the farm. First thing I want to do is go into my tractors. Now in Scandinavia, Valtra is going to be a big deal, so we are going to go with Valtra tractors for poor Nico. And yeah, I want a big fat one to be his primary tractor right there. 400 horsepower. His colors are going to be navy blue and jet black. Look at that. Look at that. Of course it's going to have GPS, and I always prefer wide tires with weights, so I'm going to go with that. Well, this Valtra T series right here should do us quite nicely, and we're going to keep it in his colors. About like so. Very nice indeed. We're going to get our wide tires and weights. GPS, yes. Max out our engine for 250 horsepower. And we have now got a nice nifty Valtra. I like it. Well, what else is Nico going to need at this point? Well, one thing that I know for sure is that he will need some kind of crop protection. Where is that? Right there. And Hardy is actually a Scandinavian brand as well, so I'm going to go with this modded Hardy Mega because it will pump liquids back and forth instead of dumping them into pallets. So if I jump on this thing, and the nice thing about this one is I can give them to Nico in his colors also. No, I did that backwards. There, that's better. So we've got the Mega, and no, I do not want to unload on pallets. That was kind of the whole point. We're going to buy that up. Very nice indeed. So now we've got herbicide and fertilizer sprayer. Oh, what else is our boy going to need? We need a seeder. Now Vaderstadt is very much a Scandinavian brand, and so you're probably going to be seeing a lot of Vaderstadt when and where I can find it. I like the 6-meter seeder right here, and I think it's going to do us well, so we are going to buy one of those. And then if we go to planters, because you know you can't have a seeder and not have a planter. Now I like this 12-meter Vaderstadt, but we need something to work up to. And I had one, yeah, this 6-meter planter. I like this one. It's interesting. It's an interesting little mod. I haven't used it before, and I'm interested to see exactly how it works out. So, we are going to go with that bad boy. And we're probably starting to run out of space a little bit, so I ought to start putting some stuff away. Okay, there we go. Everything's out of the way. So we've got a seeder, we've got a planter, we've got our 2 tractors, we've got a fertilizer sprayer. We need some type of a plow, and I'm going to go with an old standby on this one, the Lizard Subsoiler 6M. I've always liked this mod. It does a really nice job. Oh, that's exactly what I wanted. And it will create new fields, so even though it says it's a subsoiler, that's going to be my standby on that. Okay, the next thing we're going after is some type of a cultivator. And I'm looking in disc harrows because I know there are some nice Vaderstadt cultivators in here. And the Carrier XL right there, Bob's your uncle. I could actually set this up in his colors too, but I think we should keep Vaderstadt the way it is. I'm not going to go with the modded version. I'm going with the base game version. Yep, I like that. That's going to do us quite nicely. Now, what else are we going to need on this farm? Well, to get started, we need some type of a harvester. And I was thinking about... Now, it's a global marketplace. We don't have to stick with, certain brands necessarily. He's just in Scandinavia, so I figured focusing on some Scandinavian brands makes a lot of sense. But he's going to need a harvester, and I'm kind of debating, do I go with the Massey Ferguson or do I go with this Kloss Tucano? This holds 11,000 liters, but it's a lot more expensive. He'd probably go, ooh, it's more expensive. That's the machine for me. More money means a better product, right? No, not necessarily. It is slightly larger, though. Yeah, let's go with the Cloth, the Tucano. Of course, it's going to have GPS. And we're going with the Mitis, or the Metis, or whatever, however you pronounce those. But we are going to buy that bad boy up right now. And then, of course, we need the headers that go along with it. So, jump into our headers, find those cloths. That's the one right there, 7.7 meters. That's not bad. It shouldn't take us a month of Sundays to get the job done with that. So I'm going to buy that up. Absolutely. And then a corn header, of course. Right there. The lovely Kloss corn header. Outstanding. I did want to look at one thing very quickly. Because I installed a new modded header. No, I guess I didn't. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, more equipment to get out of the way. Okay, that takes care of that. Everything is put away. And I think, at least for right now, that's pretty well going to set us up here for... Oh, no. I need a trailer. Last thing I need to track down. And I found some interesting trailers that I like quite a bit. These Crampy Trailers, or Crampa. Yeah, I like that one quite a bit. And I can give it to him exactly the way he would like it. About like so. Nope. And I believe they would have wide tires. I don't want to go with the extension on top yet. Gives us something to move forward to. But he is going to have this trailer right here. I like it. I like it a lot. It's a good looking trailer. So I think at this point Nico is pretty well set up. Pretty well set up indeed. We just need to find a place for his trailer. Somewhere. I don't know. We'll just park it over here. Now, for some reason, people always find the need to, stick their trailers indoors. I find that a little bit unrealistic myself. I've had a lot of trucks and a lot of trailers, and they've never been parked indoors. At least semi-trucks and trailers, so... Okay, there we go. For now. And of course, Nico being new to the whole farming thing, getting himself into trouble, he's likely to have forgotten something. So that's Nico's farm. Now, there's one more, a couple more little things that I want to do. And we're going to get our flight mode back on here. And start working our way. I want to go find the animal dealer. Now, getting into Nico's head just a little bit. At least from my perspective. Where was that animal dealer? I think it's right down here. Yep, this is it. Right down here. Now, the poor kid doesn't know what he's doing. He's lost in translation. And I kind of see him as being somebody who, instead of knowing you could grow your own feed and all of that, he would be coming and just buying feed for his pigs rather than trying to produce it himself, which is going to get really, really costly in a hurry, which would be one very good explanation as to how he's gotten himself into financial trouble. I don't want to give all the story away. I guess I'm kind of giving a bit of it away. But down here at the animal dealer, I'm going to put in some buy points for different feed types. So I've got one for pig food. Oh, and I'm here at Nico's because I was placing at Nico's farm. Now I've got to fly all the way across the map with this thing in tow. That's alright, it won't take but a second. Won't take but a second at all. Here we go. So, there we go. Make sure. And I'm going to put these right up on the edge here. About like so. So there's our pig food. And then there's a forage one that I'm going to do also. Make sure those are nicely lined up. Perfect. So we've got pig and cattle feed right here. It makes complete sense to me that this animal dealer would have different types of pig food you could come, or different types of animal food you could come in and purchase. Now there are a few more things left that I'm going to set up, but like I said, I don't want to give the whole story away, so I'm going to call it at this point. So this is my setup for the Baltic Sea. It should be an interesting playthrough. I'm actually very much looking forward to it. And the best thing of all, the Baltic Sea, Scandinavia. You know what comes from Scandinavia? Vikings, Norse mythology, all of that interesting stuff, and 3 different countries that we get to learn about. So it should be a fun playthrough with lots of information. Anyway, this is my setup for the Baltic Sea. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe learned a little something. If you did, please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. And until next time, take care.